Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over what is the long-term running costs of owning a car like this, my 2014 Audi R8 Spyder. Being able to pay upfront for a car and owning a car like this is one thing, but it's another thing to keep it running and making sure that you can keep up with the long-term expenses. Before I was able to purchase a supercar like this, I was always curious when I saw Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens on the road, and I wondered how much money does it actually cost to keep those cars running. After owning this car for about a year and also researching a lot about the potential problems that can occur with these types of cars, I'm able to have a lot of knowledge around this and inform you guys what could happen if you own an Audi R8 long term. Before we get started, make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algo, tap subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my content. It would help me out with growing this channel greatly and I would appreciate it very much. So let's get started with the most basic thing that you have to do for a car, which is yearly maintenance. How much does it cost for the Audi R8? Now, the answer to this question really depends on where you go to get your maintenance. You could go to the official Audi dealership, that's gonna cost more, or you can go to an indie shop and get your car maintained there. When I purchased this car, I prepaid for 2 years of Audi Care, which is their yearly maintenance program. It was $1,300 for 2 years, which means $650 yearly for the maintenance. Prepaying for Audi Care can actually save you tons of money. Audi Care is flat across all maintenance intervals, whereas the true cost of each maintenance may vary. For example, the first few services on this R8 are not too expensive because they just come with oil changes like inspections, simple stuff like that. But for certain maintenance intervals, such as the 5th maintenance for this car, which I had to do this year, this particular maintenance is more expensive because they go in and change a lot of the key components of the car, such as the spark plugs. There's a ton of other stuff they change too. I'm not sure, I can't remember on the top of my head. I searched up online and there were people paying $2,000 at the official Audi dealership for this particular maintenance. So me paying $650 for it is a great deal. The other plus of going to an official dealership is gonna have those service records. This may help you when you go to sell your car. It may improve resale values versus if you get it done at any shop. Sure, you may be saving money up front, but when you go to sell it, there's gonna be questions. Where is this maintained? Where are your service records? And do they actually trust the indie shop you went to? All in all, it's safe to say that I prefer going to the official Audi dealership. It's just better peace of mind. The technicians there definitely know what they're doing and you're gonna have better resale values later on. Now let's talk about the consumable parts of this car, like the brakes and tires. For the tires, I run Pirelli P0s, and for those it costs about $250 per corner, so $1K to replace all 4 tires. Now remember, this is not a cost you're gonna incur every single year. Tires may last 30,000 miles. If you track it, maybe only 10,000. Since I don't track this car, I'm pretty sure I can get 30,000 miles out of it. Now let's talk about the brakes. I have steel brakes on this car, so it's a little bit cheaper than if you had carbon ceramic brakes. Those are really expensive, about $2,000 per corner. But these ones are probably like $800 to $1,000 per corner. That's also not an expense you're gonna incur every single year, so you don't have to worry about it too much. You can easily get 50,000 miles if you drive highway miles on this car. If you are doing tracked use, obviously you're gonna get a lot less mileage out of it, maybe only 10K. Apart from the tires, brakes, there's also oil, which this car needs a lot. Even between service intervals, I still have to top up oil. It just burns it. The thing with these V8 engines, it's known to burn oil, but oil is pretty cheap. You can get that for like 10, 20 bucks. Now let's go into some big ticket issues with this car. Things that can cost a lot of money if this happens to you. The first thing is the AC compressor. This is known to fail in the R8 a lot of times. There's people who've only driven 10,000 miles and have had this go out. There's also people on the forum saying that they've had 2 or 3 AC compressors go out. So it really depends on your luck. And the problem with the AC compressor in this car is it's located in a certain part where there's a lot of heat cycles going through it, which causes it to fail. Now the problem with this is not replacing the part itself. How much can an AC compressor cost? It's the cost of getting to the actual AC compressor and the labor associated with it. The official Audi guidelines says that you must remove the engine to get to the AC compressor and replace it. Now removing the engine, that's not a small task. That's like thousands of dollars of labor. So if you go to the official dealership to get this job done, it's gonna cost at least like 5K to replace the AC compressor. That's German engineering for you. But there is also a way of replacing it underneath the car that's supposed to cost a lot less. Indie shop can probably do it for you for $2,000. Whether you're going to an indie shop or the official dealership, it's not a cheap expense. So if you get this car, you just gotta hope and pray the AC compressor does not go out. Another common problem is the magnetic ride suspension. What that is a switchable mode to tune the suspension settings between comfort and sport. The problem with this is that the magnetic ride shocks tend to leak, and when they leak, your car is stuck on the stiff suspension mode. A lot of R8 owners have decided to go with the coilovers instead of magnetic ride suspension because it's just too costly to maintain. Each magnetic ride suspension from the official Audi dealership will cost you $2,000. God forbid if all 4 of your magnetic ride shocks leak, then you're looking at an $8,000 expense. That's insanely huge, and I've heard these magnetic ride shocks can sometimes last 10,000 miles only. Let's say you're just unlucky, that's an $8,000 expense for only driving 10,000 miles. You definitely do not want that to happen to you. And that's it. Those are the only 2 common problems with the Audi R8. And I wouldn't say they're common, they're just more likely to happen. But it's not like every Audi R8 has AC compressor problems, and not all Audi R8s have magnetic ride shocks that leak. Mine are working properly and they've never been replaced. And I hope that continues for the foreseeable future, as long as I own this car. And if there's any other parts you need to replace, it's usually pretty cheap because they're just regular Audi parts. Compared to an exotic brand like Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren, those would cost thousands of dollars even to replace like a single small piece on the car. And that is why people say this is the perfect daily drivable supercar. The maintenance costs are low, cheap parts. Also, there's not many huge problems with it, even though like the AC compressor is known to go out, magnetic ride suspension known to leak. Those are still minor issues. The engine in this car is rock solid. It's a V8, so it's a long-standing engine that has had years of experience, and it's bulletproof. I haven't heard of one blowing up yet. All in all, this is a great car to own, and it's relatively cheap to maintain long-term. In the entire year that I've owned this car, I've only spent $650 on the Audi Care maintenance. Other than that, nothing needed to be replaced. Of course, the big ticket items, if it happens, are gonna cost more, but I will be ready for that. If you're looking to get this car, I wouldn't worry too much. This is definitely the cheapest out of any supercar to maintain, and it has a proven track record throughout the years that this car was released since 2008. There's been a lot of owners and they've been very happy with the maintenance cost of this car, which is why it's known as the daily drivable supercar. All right, that's it for the video, guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Tap the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.